Well, hello. My name is Richard, and as you can tell, I'm an older person. I want to welcome everybody to this channel. This channel is not only for older people, but it's for younger people too that are growing up. Hopefully, we can learn together. We can discuss things that are really important in our lives these days because our world is changing. And I want to welcome everybody to this new channel. It's going to be called Story Time with Grandpa because I am a grandfather and I love to tell stories. Now, my story time for this week, this is episode 1, is going to begin way before I was born. It's going to be about my mother. She was born in Germany in a small little town called Goldbach, and it was the year let's go back to the year of 1944. What was going on in 1944? Well, everybody should know this from your history books. It was the year that Germany was really being destroyed and being bombed heavily by the Allied forces, and the United States was part of the Allied forces. So most of their planes, along with the British planes, were bombing Germany very heavily, and it just coincides at the time with my mother being a teenager. She was a teenager under Adolf Hitler, so I would imagine she was a Nazi. This story time was not really told by my mother. It was given to me by my grandmother. I called her Oma, and she was the one that related this story to me about my mother. Because my mother really didn't like to talk about those days, but my grandmother did. She loved telling the stories and stuff of how she grew up and what happened in her life. But this particular time in history, it was the spring of 1944. Goldbach was a little town right outside of Aschaffenburg, Bavaria, in southern Germany. Okay, the bombs were just falling because Aschaffenburg was the center of a major manufacturing center for ball bearings. So at that time, Hitler had a huge factory there, so the Allies targeted that factory. And when they came over and dropped the bombs, a few of those, we were so close, Goldbach was so close to that a few of the bombs ended up landing in my hometown where I was born. Matter of fact, one of the bombs landed it came right through the roof and landed in my mother's bed, but it didn't explode. For some miracle, it never exploded, and of course my family, my uncles and a lot of my family were in the basement of that house. So if it would have exploded, it would have totally destroyed the house and killed everybody inside. But for some miracle, that Allied bomb that came through the roof, it crashed through the roof, landed in my mother's bedroom, right in the bed that she usually would sleep in. But she was in the basement with the rest of the family. So everybody was safe and nobody got killed or anything. So just think, if that bomb had exploded, good grief, I wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't be here. My children wouldn't be here. My great-grandchildren wouldn't be here. It's just how life can turn so much on a little incident like this that happened. Of course, it wasn't a little incident to my family, but this is one of the things that has inspired me to be more spiritual, okay? This is one of the things that drives my life so much because I have gone through so many things in life where there were close calls like this. This was my very first close call, and of course, I wasn't even born yet when this incident happened. But like I said, if my mother had been in that bed and that bomb had exploded, it would have wiped out my family. But it didn't. God was there. The angels were there protecting everybody from that bomb that came through the roof. This was always this incident always carried me for many years. After my grandmother told me this, I was just in awe of the miracles that are out there that have happened. And this was just one example of my life, which has driven me to be a more spiritual, a more evolved person. I often think about this, and I think about how lucky my family has been, because I've had a wonderful life. I am 72 years old, and I often think back at those times before I was even born. I hope you enjoyed this section of my life, this little story time that I like to always talk about, because this had a great influence, because I was born a Catholic, but as I got older growing up, I just couldn't accept the religions that were around at the time, so I leaned more towards what my grandmother viewed as pagan practices. She taught me a lot about how to live a natural life, how to use herbs, how to use concoctions to make my life better, to fighting diseases. And she was a great influence in my life. And this is one of the aspects why I have become more spiritual in my last days now, because I'm in my latter part of my life. And as you can see, I have aged a lot over the years. Now, my channel, I want to touch briefly on my channel and what it's really going to be like, okay? I'm going to try to post every Sunday on a different topic. Most of the topics that I'm going to talk about is like, stuff like eating better, downsizing your life so it's more manageable. I want to create my own little space that I can be happy in and be joyful and not have to worry about anything. Stress is the #1 killer around. Eating right is a great importance to me because I'm a diabetic and I have to be careful on what I consume. I have to eat to become a better, healthier person. Okay, and along with all this, I want to share my experiences along with the public and through this YouTube channel. My channel is mostly geared towards 50-year-old and more, the older generation. But the younger people, they can learn a thing or two, It's not going to hurt them to watch my channel because I'm going to be discussing things that are normal, nothing extreme. Any age could really watch to learn if they're struggling through certain parts of their life. My channel will not be about religion, okay? It'll be about spirituality and the natural progression of becoming a pagan, because that's what I have become. I am the most happiest being in the natural world and enjoying the peace and quiet in my later years. So come along with me on this journey. If there's any questions you want to ask, feel free to ask them. Put them in the comment section. I have a big section down there where you can just put any comment you want, and I'll reply to all the questions that you ask me. I want to spread this message that there is hope and there is joy and there is love in the world, even though we're going through this transition right now of a different way of life. We have a lot of negativity bombarding us every day for whatever reason, and we need to learn to live through this and to enjoy life with a smile on your face. I want to spread the message of love, peace, and joy. So just remember to help me out on this new channel. I have to have a bunch of likes. Please like this channel, share it with your friends because it will be very helpful. Subscribe to my channel. That will help me out tremendously in bringing out more information as we go along. Always remember that every week I will have a different subject. My next episode too that I'm going to be filming next week, it will be about downsizing your life to make you more joyful and happy. And always remember now that you're loved. Blessed be. Bye-bye.